Hi everyone! So this is just a tutorial that I've made because I was bored. It's a tutorial on how to use henna to stain your hair. That's what I use on my hair, which is why it's insanely bright red. So just a fair warning, if you get your hair treated a lot, if you dye your hair frequently or get your hair done at the salon a lot, I don't recommend using henna on your hair because henna is extremely permanent. It will stay in your hair until you cut your hair off. My hair basically stays vibrant until my roots grow in and they're like this little ugly coppery color. I've had hairdressers get really mad at me online saying that you shouldn't use henna on your hair, but I really like using it on my hair. I think it's made it stronger. It's been growing way faster than it used to. My hair used to be this long, but it was just split ends and dry and unhealthy. So I shaved it all off. And for 2 years, I had boy length hair, which I actually liked a lot, but I got bored with it and decided to grow it out. Another thing henna can do is I think if you get your hair treated to like straighten it or like perm it, I think the henna can affect it. If you want to dye your hair after using henna, it will most likely always have a warm tone to it. You cannot bleach your hair after you've used henna. So if you plan on going blonde at any point, this is not for you. If you want to dye your hair like brown or black though, it will work because I have put lowlights in my hair and they work fine. I've gone dark brown, just lowlights. It's fine. There's just always going to be a warm undertone. So if you have light-ish colored hair like I do, like a red tint to your hair, this will make your hair super red and vibrant. If you have a darker auburn hair, it's just going to make it richer. If you have very dark hair, it's probably not going to show up at all. And if you have very light blonde hair, I don't really recommend using the henna because it is probably going to come out just neon orange. It'll be really bright, so I don't know why you would want that, so that's my warning. So now that I've touched all the bases of what not to do with henna, I'll go ahead and show you how I make my solution, how long I leave it in my hair, and how I apply it without making a total mess. So what I have here are my ingredients that I use to make my mix. Obviously you need henna powder. I got this online for I think $10. It probably, for me, and I have long hair, has 2 or 3 uses in it. I've used a third of the bag the last few times, but I've mostly just been touching up my roots. The other thing I like to add to it is if you add an acid to it, it helps the dye release better and be darker. So I add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is also great for your hair. It can help prevent things like dandruff and things like that. Another thing people usually add to make the dye darker, lavender and tea tree essential oils. They have some compounds in them that help the dye be nice and dark. So what I typically do is I add all of these with warm water, or sometimes I even use coffee just because it's also acidic and it seems to make a little bit darker. I whisk everything in a bowl. And then after that, I actually take it through a blender so that it's extra smooth. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. So once it's blended up nice and smooth, it should have the consistency of like, I guess melted peanut butter is probably a good consistency. And the reason why I like to make it so smooth and to put it through the blender a couple times is because I like to put it into this condiment bottle with this little nozzle for application because it just makes it way easier. You're not getting stains all over your hands trying to like scoop it out of something and put it onto your hair. So this just makes it a million times easier. So once everything is mixed together and you have it in your container, go ahead and let it sit out at room temperature for 20 minutes to a half hour, just to let the dye get released. And then after that, you can start applying it to your scalp. So to do this, you're gonna wanna wear a junky, probably dark colored shirt, excuse me, because this stuff stains. It will stain, sometimes it even stains through my gloves. It goes away after a couple days, but like if you get it on your wall or your favorite shirt, your shirt's going to be ruined. It will never come out. So as you can see, I have some pretty sick looking roots going on right now. It's been about a month and a half since I did this to my hair last. I'm gonna go ahead and take my hair down and I'm gonna start putting the henna in it. Okay, so as you can see, I've got all of my head covered. What you really want to do is make sure that all parts of your scalp feel wet. This was mostly just a root touch-up, so I didn't worry too much about my ends because they're still colorful. This is what the glove looks like when it's clean with water. So as you can see, the stain is very powerful and it's already working. So what you want to do is leave it in as long as possible. The longer you leave it in, the darker your color is going to be. I usually leave it in at least 2 hours. Sometimes I do 3 hours. So while I'm waiting, I'm just going to be doing some photo editing for some clients of mine and watching TV. And then I like to take showers at night anyways, so then you just rinse it off. For the next couple days, the color is still going to be setting because once it oxidizes, it gets darker. So I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like immediately after the shower, but it's not as dark as it's going to be. I recommend wrapping your head in like a waterproof shower cap or maybe like a plastic bag and then putting a towel over it so that you don't get any of your furniture stained and you don't have to worry about your hair drying out. You want your dye to stay as damp as possible for as long as possible. So I will be back in a couple hours. So here is the finished product after it's had time to dry. As you can see, I don't have any more really dull roots anymore. So yeah, I'm always happy with how it turns out. It also, I think, makes my hair really shiny afterwards. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and we'll see you next time.